I've encountered brothers and sisters who take the position that they only read books by black people. This issue comes up often in political education spaces, in activist circles, community organizing conversations. Some of the people who believe this idea that I'm going to be challenging are people I respect dearly. I want to be real clear about that. Just because I'm critiquing them, I do not want that to be seen as I'm disrespecting uh, these individuals, their work. I'm not dismissing their importance. What I am questioning is whether this thinking, this approach, actually serves our political interests or not. And of course, I'm arguing that that does not serve us, taking a position that we only read books or watch documentaries or whatever it is by black people. I'm going to absolutely contest that. If we're serious about liberating black people, politically, economically, psychologically, culturally, then we have to be serious about study and knowledge. Oppression, how it works, how it manifests in our communities, liberation strategies, how we resist our oppression, the impact of oppression on us, so maybe some psychology, political systems, economic systems, and yes, even understanding our mindset and the methodology of our enemies and their mindset. Limiting ourselves exclusively to reading the works of black authors reflects a form of intellectual arrogance, even if it's well-intentioned. And what do I mean? So, black people are brilliant. Our intellectual, cultural, and political accomplishments and contributions are vast, and they've changed the world. And because we were the first people on this planet, it's foundational to stuff that our people in ancient Africa and the diaspora have put forth into this world. That is indisputable and goes without question. That's not even up for debate. However, we are not the only people on this planet, family. We're not the only intelligent, accomplished people on the planet. Many of them have accomplished some things as well. Being proud of our people should not be made to be synonymous with being intellectual or cultural chauvinists. The second reason why this is not a good practice, this idea that I'm only going to read books by black authors. When we read only black authors, we're cutting ourselves off from the full body of revolutionary, philosophical, and political thought that has shaped this world for centuries and millennia. And that puts us at a serious disadvantage. And this is why our enemies don't think that way. Intelligence agencies of this government and forces who dominate global power structures study everybody and everything. They read black thinkers, they read black history, and they know our history in some cases better than some of us do. We know this from a black intelligence agent named Daythard Perry, who did a whole interview on Gil Noble's show Like It Is back in the day. And for a whole hour, he's talking about how the FBI had resources on our culture, our history, our documents that was more vast than the Schomburg Library. Yeah, because they know knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is the basis of any movement. You got to know who you're dealing with. They read European political history, they read psychology, economics, warfare, propaganda, social control, and they read these things across various cultures and across various centuries. Why do they read our history? Because they love us? No. Because they're not trying to prove how white they are. They're trying to win. They don't racialize the knowledge. Knowledge is knowledge, family. White people in power who are racist are engineering plots and programs to destabilize our movements, kill our leaders, and do whatever they're doing. Reading all of our stuff. Not only reading our stuff, sending people to infiltrate our organizations, to learn about what we read, what we eat, how we dress, what and who we value. I want you to think about this. While they're doing all that, some of us are taking a position that we're going to voluntarily shrink our intellectual toolkit. Does that make sense to you? That's not revolutionary, fam. That is self-sabotage. When I reflect on my life, I recall how my teachers and jegnas, all of them challenged me to broaden my political consciousness and my strategic thinking. And mainly they did that by exposing me to a wide and deep variety of books from a wide variety of people. I've gained insight from Confucius and Lao Tzu on ethics and leadership and social harmony, from Socrates and Marcus Aurelius. I learned about discipline and wisdom and moral responsibility. From Buddhist philosophy, I've learned about suffering, the nature of suffering and what causes it, detachment, and consciousness. Now, as an Africana studies scholar, of course I'm grounded in our traditions and our scholars. Of course I am. But I also learned about civil disobedience from people like Henry David Thoreau. I learned about class power and hegemony from people like Karl Marx and Antonio Gramsci, who had the whole concept of organic intellectuals. I learned about propaganda and authoritarianism and fascism from writers like George Orwell, who's a fiction writer who wrote 1984, and he also wrote Animal Farm. I increased my ability to critique U.S. media and foreign policy from Noam Chomsky, grassroots and marginalized history from Howard Zinn, setting and achieving goals, the importance of being on time, the importance of rendering more service than is required of you, certain leadership principles, and manifestation techniques from Napoleon Hill. And guess what? None of that study diminished my blackness in any way. None of it weakened my commitment to black liberation. What it did was sharpen my skill set. We're judging intellectual worth based on identity, phenotype, rather than substance and its usefulness. The same logic used to marginalize us and so many other people. We're going to prejudge people and assign them a social rank or completely isolate them and ostracize them on the basis of phenotype. Like, that's crazy to me. Revolutionary study. This is not about loyalty tests. This is not about proving how black you are. It's about being effective, about being knowledgeable, about understanding the world as it is, not as we think it is or want it to be. Because once we understand the world as it is, we can effectively change it into what we want it to be. Two of arguably our greatest liberation theorists and organizers in the Pan-African nationalist tradition read widely, which is partially what made both of them so uniquely powerful. You can barely meet any black nationalist or Pan-African who does not highly revere these two people, who doesn't say that one of their books changed their lives or brought them into consciousness. Who am I talking about? Oh, I'm talking about the Honorable Marcus Garvey and the Honorable Malcolm X. Fortunately, there's a website. What they do is they go look at a certain celebrity or important person in history and through their research find out the books they read. So check this out. Marcus Garvey. And I ain't too many people I ever met that's blacker in consciousness than Marcus Garvey family. He read Plato, Aristotle, Andrew Carnegie, Dale Carnegie, Marcus Aurelius, Karl Marx. Brother Malcolm read Friedrich Nietzsche, Gandhi, H.G. Wells, Harriet Beecher Stowe, the white abolitionist, and Immanuel Kant. If you're someone that has taken a position, you're an activist, educator, organizer, community leader, and you say that you're working for the uplift and advancement and protection of black people, please dismiss this idea that you're going to get the requisite knowledge you need simply by reading black authors. We have to get rid of that, family. We have to. Our minds are like this universe. The universe is limitless, and our minds are limitless. But when you put these artificial limits on it, you're doing us a disservice. The people that you look up to and admire as leaders were widely read people. And that's one of the reasons they were so powerful. Their knowledge base, their understanding of the world and geopolitics and social dynamics and our psychology. So yes, should we read our black authors? Of course. That's like asking me, should we breathe and should we eat? We should have a library in our homes, every one of us. I don't care how big or small it is, with books written by our black authors. So we have to diversify the authors we read from and the types of readings we do if we're serious. If you don't want to win, if you just want to say you blacker and blackity black, God bless you. But if you're trying to say I'm blackity black and I'm tooled up, I got an arsenal that's tooled up and ready to fight on our behalf and to do so effectively, then family, please take what I'm saying seriously. Our experiences and our authors and our intellectuals and our activists' voices have to always be central and have to always have high priority. However, prioritizing black thought does not mean isolating ourselves from other sources of thought.